Nomination period for the March 26 chief executive election officially ended today at 5 o'clock. Hong Kong will have three candidates this year: Carrie Lam, John Tsang, and Woo Kwa King. Regina Ip dropped out of the race just hours before the nomination deadline. Winna Wong tells us more.
Carrie Lam, John Tsang, and Woo Kwa King. They will be dominating Hong Kong headlines over the next few weeks. Carrie Lam handed in her nomination forms yesterday, becoming the third contestant to be confirmed in the race for the city's top job. Today, the Registration and Electoral Office made public the list of the over 500 election committee members who backed her. Among them, Yeung Yu-man and Sahid Uddin from the religious subsector. From the catering subsector, Calvin Yao. Chiu Sao-han from the New Territories District Councils. And from the agriculture and fisheries subsector, Leung Kun-ho, Kwok Chi-yao, and Tang Nun-fun. Lam submitted 579 nominations yesterday, but 7 of them were declared invalid for various reasons. She was back at the Registration and Electoral Office today with 7 new forms, plus 1 new nomination from lawmaker Wilson Orr, which means Lam now has 580 nominations. That's even more than what her 2 opponents got combined. There were also 36 people who handed in 2 or even 3 nomination forms, including National People's Congress Deputy Peter Wong, former Wharf Holdings Chairman Peter Wu, and his son Douglas Wu. All the forms were considered as 1 valid nomination each. All in all, the former Chief Secretary for Administration got the most votes from the first out of the election committee's 4 sectors. Several subsectors, including agriculture and fisheries, the powerful Heung Yi-kuk, and members of the National People's Congress, tied their votes and gave them all to Lam. None of her nominations are from the pro-democracy camp. John Tsang, meanwhile, got the full backing of the education subsector, as well as support from some members of the accountancy and higher education subsectors. He is also the only candidate with nominations from both the pro-establishment and pan-democratic camps. Woo Kwa King received over 50 nominations from the social welfare subsector. He also got a lot of support from professionals in the health services, legal, and medical subsectors. All his nominations come from the pro-democracy camp. But many election committee members also decided not to back anyone at this moment. 20 of them are considered pan-Democrats, and 249 of them pro-establishment. Hong Kong's wealthiest man, Li Ka-shing, also refrained from putting in any nomination. He had made this clear earlier, but said he would be voting in the election later this month. Winna Wong, TVB News.
And now that campaigning is over, the 3 candidates must now wait for the election to be held on March 26. Candidates need more than 600 votes to win. Our Anne-Marie Sim with details.
Hong Kong's next leader will be chosen by a 1,194-strong election committee by secret ballot. Having secured more than 150 nominations to qualify, the chief executive hopefuls will need more than 600 votes to win in the poll on March 26th. On that day, from 9 to 11 in the morning, election committee members will gather at the Convention and Exhibition Centre in Wan Chai to cast their ballots. The vote count begins immediately. According to CE election laws, if none of the candidates get enough votes, the 2 candidates with the highest number of votes will enter a second round, where the election committee votes again. If after that second round of voting a candidate still hasn't secured more than 600 votes, the returning officer will stop the procedure and arrange for a re-election. Under the Basic Law, the CE-elect needs to be appointed by the central government. Incumbent CE Leung Chun-ying was appointed by the State Council 3 days after he won the election. But what if Beijing decides not to appoint the CE-elect?
This has never happened, but under the law and also within the system, there are provisions providing for such eventualities. Now, this CE designate, if for whatever reason, including non-appointment or he has not been appointed, then come the 1st of July this year, if he cannot take up the post because of non-appointment or that he is not appointed, then there will be a vacancy, and we will count then 120 days from the 1st of July and conduct another election to elect another CE.
Tam also reiterated that the CE is elected by secret ballot and that the Electoral Affairs Commission has measures in place to ensure the utmost confidentiality. Those include removing security cameras at the polling station. The central control room for the security cameras will also be guarded by police officers. Anne-Marie Sim, TVB News.
New People's Party chairwoman Regina Ip has left the CE race after failing to get enough nominations from election committee members. She said her failure to get in for the second time was due to limitations in the current election system. Caleb Lung with that story.
Ip called a press briefing just a couple of hours before the official nomination period ended at 5 p.m. She said she was unable to secure enough nominations and therefore she was ceasing her election campaign. Ip refused to disclose the number of nominations she received, but it's far from the minimum of 150 required.
I think I failed to get in again because of the limitation of our system. Our election committee has only 1194 votes. So when you have 4 candidates, basically all from the pro-establishment camp, competing, I have been squeezed out.
Although she was rejected for the second time, Ip said she had no regrets.
This time I made much more detailed preparation, whether in terms of a policy platform, media work, engagement of the different sectors, reaching out to election committees of different political backgrounds, and online promotion.
As for which CE candidate her party will now back, Ip said all 3 contenders have to lobby for support.
To be fair, all 3 legally nominated candidates are free to lobby for our support. They will need to visit New People's Party, explain their platform, answer our questions, and demonstrate their ability and sincerity.
Ip plans to return to her work as a lawmaker now that her campaign is over, but she insists it's too early to say whether she'll join the next CE race, as that would depend on her health at the time and if she has the desire to run. Caleb Leung, TVB News.